Hi, everybody. Welcome to the virtual Fairfield Museum. My name is Laurie Pasteryak, and my job at the museum is Director of Interpretation. That means that I'm lucky enough to work with the museum's team to create opportunities to share all sorts of content and through programs and exhibits and other events like I'm doing here today. So right now, the museum is closed to the public, but our staff is bringing you all sorts of fun new live virtual adventures and providing content online through all of our outlets like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and on our website. So please look and be aware of the upcoming events by staying connected with us online. So you can find out more about those things on our website, www.fairfieldhistory.org. And on our website, you can also perhaps renew your membership or join the museum and take the opportunity to donate. The museum is a private non-for-profit, and we depend on the support from people like you. And we really are very grateful for all of you in this community and how we can reach you in new ways. So today, I'm live from the museum, the Fairfield Museum, in our new exhibition, which is called Floral Expressions, 200 Years of Women's Power Through Fashion. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about these two dresses behind me and why we included them in the exhibit, why they're special, and why and where they're from as well. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, please use the comment feature in the video. Also give me lots of love and hearts because I can see those come up in the screen. And I'm happy to answer your questions or just love reading your comments afterwards. If you have any feedback to us, please definitely comment as well. We are new to this live video and these virtual events, so anything that you can let us know, we're happy to hear and we're happy to help. So these two dresses, I posted some detail shots as well as some information from the panels and their labels in the event page. So if you're having trouble seeing that, let me know, but there's a lot of detail shots around. But I wanted to start with this dress on the right here, or on your left, or on my right. It's kind of weird, you're backwards. First, which is a walking dress from about 1867. And this dress is very special because it actually was, I would say, the whole reason that we started this exhibit and we planned this exhibit to begin with. We were actually searching for something completely different in our collection storage area with Diane Lee, who's our collections manager, as well as consultant Stacey Danielson. And we opened the box and we discovered this amazingly green, bright green dress with all of this beautiful, delicate pearl beading. And we said, wow, we've never seen this before. We went back into our records and we actually were never even sure if this dress had been shown to the public. Definitely not in probably my lifetime, but perhaps in maybe somebody else's. And this dress, because of its color and because of its beautiful botanical vining and delicate weave, as well as the pearls, was what we really wanted to spotlight here. We wanted to give you an opportunity to feel spring and feel the colors of spring, as well as the green that we're missing so much in those winter months. And so that's why we chose to include it in this exhibit. However, there's some really other fun things about this dress that we discovered during our research. Number one, it was actually given to the museum by a woman who was named Mary Darlington Taylor. And she was the former curator here while it was the Fairfield Historical Society back in the mid-20th century. And she had actually what I think is a distinct style and taste. She wouldn't have worn this dress. So it either came down from her family or it was actually maybe perhaps she sought it out or purchased it. But it ended up here in the museum, and it's really special because it actually is something called, it's dyed a color what people call Shields green. And Green is one of those interesting colors. It's really, really hard to dye a dress or any other type of fabric green. Although it's so naturally occurring in nature, it's really, really hard to get an effective green. So back in the 18th century, there was a scientist named Carl Scheele, and he actually accidentally discovered that arsenic actually dyed dresses green, or created a green dye. And although there were other greens that appeared during before this time, Scheele's green was a hit because not only could it be applied to fabrics and textiles, it could also be used in wallpaper and other things. That dress, we didn't do chemical testing on it, but we believe it is Scheele's green, which means that it does contain arsenic. And this is an era, this dress, when it came out in the 1816s, was during the Victorian era, which was all sorts of opulence and decorative nature. And when fabrics actually moved away from being this giant floral patterns to these delicate and lots of delicate nature of either embroidery or buttons or hairdos or whatever it may be. There was a lot of detail, and it was everywhere. So this dress is a really great example, number one, of the Victorian era, and number two, an era in which this green became incredibly popular, not only in fabrics, but also through wallpaper and curtains and all sorts of things that people were putting around their house. Now, there's very small levels of arsenic in it, so if I were to touch it, I'm not going to get sick. However, if you completely wallpapered your house in this Scheele's green, and you were wearing dresses every day or other types of clothing, especially if you're a man, with this green, it's going to, number one, irritate your skin. Number two, it may give you kind of digestive issues, abdominal issues. And number three, the more you wear it and the more you ingest it, it's actually it can cause you to be very sick, and in extreme cases, end your life. However, I don't believe if I were to just touch this dress that I'm not going to be sick. Now, that being said, as a curator and as someone who cares for collections with the museum, we are, of course, very careful in handling pieces like this, not only because of the fact that it might have arsenic, but mostly because that's our job, is to care for these collections very carefully. And so this is, of course, one of my favorite dresses in the show. It was an inspiration for the Floral Expressions show, and it's such a great example from the 1860s that we decided, of course, to spotlight it up here on this wonderful platform that you can see when you enter the room. If you have any questions about this particular dress, please definitely leave in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer afterwards, or I'll be happy to reach out to other people who helped us with this exhibitions, and that includes Kathy Crowell-Varda, Stacy Danielson, and the former curator here at the Fairfield Museum, Christopher Nevins. So special thanks to them because they were able to be on hand and help us both select and choose and give you lots of details about these dresses. So, on to the other dress, which is, of course, fantastically beautiful. But this dress actually has, number one, it's purple, right? What do we think of when we think of purple? We think of royalty. We think of kind of opulence. We think of a variety of colors, like the dark purples or the light purple, like the lilac, like this one is. This purple is, of course, quite beautiful, but the dress is incredibly special, number one, because who it came from. So this dress was given to the museum from Mrs. Fred Sturgis of the Sturgis family of Fairfield, and it is associated with the family that lives or is still living in Sturgis Cottage, a beloved historic house and very beautiful home here in Fairfield. So the Sturgis family were, of course, what we would call here in Fairfield, and where all of the dresses that are in this exhibit are from, women of the social elite. So these women had access to, number one, incredibly beautiful textiles. They were able to either have those textiles, they had somebody either making their dresses and working with them. They had people who would, of course, they may have had more than one dress per day that they could wear or outfit. But in this one in particular, especially the woman who wore this dress, Mary Reed Fuller Sturgis, who actually happened to marry one of the Sturgis that was, of course, one of the elite businessmen out of New York City in the first half of the 19th century. So this dress, because of its purple, is also special when it comes to dyes and the color of dye. So by this point in time, there was actually a scientific man or scientist named William Henry Perkin, who in the 1850s was actually researching a cure for malaria. And he unfortunately didn't find a cure for malaria, but he was using coal tar, which is, of course, coal that you use to heat, and tar, which is a very sticky substance. He actually realized that the coal tar actually stained his textiles a brilliant purple. And so by the 1860s, you have a significant amount of opportunities for purple to be dyed. And purple is certainly, as well as green, is one of the most widely used colors of the Victorian era. And now you can imagine that coal tar staining on your dress probably isn't going to be too good for you as well. Maybe not as poisonous as arsenic, but it certainly isn't going to make you feel well, especially your skin. It might cause those skin irritations that I mentioned with the arsenic as well. But these two dresses and their colors are highly specific to the Victorian era, and not only in their colors, but also in their styles, with the constrictive nature of the bustle of the above. So this purple dress that came from the Sturgis family has a very, very tight and specific bustle as well. So a tight waist and a bustle that kind of flares out in the back. And it's very stylish because it has this beautiful piece that comes around, which is called a pelerine. And that pelerine actually highlighted the bustle even more. And not only this dress, but the dress as well would have had a significant amount of petticoats as well as other layers, as well as boning within their bustles to support these styles. Which today I will say that we are probably all home in our very comfy leggings or jeans or dresses or sweatshirts, that we probably wouldn't be too comfortable in these dresses. So the wonderful floral element of this dress is actually in its beautiful embroidery, which would have been all, of course, hand done during this period. And the flowers, we think, are actually tiny forget-me-nots, which is really interesting because this dress was actually part of the wedding ensemble, not necessarily maybe worn at the wedding, but part of the trousseau that Mary perhaps took with her on her either honeymoon or trip after her wedding. So it was brought with her into the marriage. Another interesting element about this dress is that it actually has two separate bodices. So the green dress is actually one piece with a capelet, as you can see behind me. And the purple dress is actually a skirt and has a separate top, which would have been either an evening bodice or a day bodice. The one it is actually dressed in now is the day bodice, which is interesting because it's long sleeved and it's actually quite high up on the neck. The evening bodice is actually quite beautiful, off the shoulder, more kind of cap sleeve style with lace that comes, black and white lace that comes across the front as well as around the shoulders and the back. So that actually does conclude the History Bites for today in our Floral Expressions, 200 Years of Women's Power Through Fashion. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, my name is Laurie Pasteryak, and I am the museum's Director of Interpretation. So the museum and I am very happy to stay connected with you during this time. If you have any questions or comments or any specific issues or questions about the dress, or you'd like me to post any additional pictures to see the details, please let me know. Please use the comment feature. I'm always happy to hear anything you have to say and to work with you to answer all of those questions. Again, you can reach out to us on this comment feature through our Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and you can also visit our website at www.fairfieldmuseum.org. Please check us online and consider donating and supporting the museum at this time. We really hope that you can join us and stay connected with us at future events, and invite your friends and family. The more the merrier. Stay well, be well, and thank you so much. Bye.